Hi, kitty. You want some dinner? Yeah, let's see. She's ready. They stood up for him. He raped their women. They stood up for him. They've got a black mark. You got canceled on lives. Yes. She's got a black mark. She does. You like that sound, kitty? I do too. Yeah, you like that sound? Yeah, you do. Oh, I'm sorry your dinner's so late. I love you. Yep. Oh, I'm sorry your dinner's so late. Yep, it's good food though, I promise. She's like, you feed me this every 6 hours. It's the same thing you feed me every 6 hours. I'm so bored of it. Yeah, I know you're bored of it, kitty. I know. I know you're bored of it, kitty. I know you are. Alright. Yeah, you want it though, huh? You hungry, kitty? She's got a black mark. Cancel the deliverables. I love canceling people if you rape somebody. I actually really like doing it. What other defense do we have? Otherwise, it just goes on basically on a. Anyways. Okay. Okay, hi guys. Sorry about that. I'm just getting ready to come back and go back to work. Oh, yeah. I hope everybody left it because I was AFK for a whole hour or whatever it was, like an hour and 5 minutes. But here we go. We've been watching some X4 foundations. Yeah, getting me some money. I'm gonna save now. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna fire up Grand Theft Auto and try and get my passive income here. Gonna go on the World of Warcraft, try to get my passive income here. Gonna go on, Once Human and get my passive income here. Okay, I'm gonna put my headphones in. $120,000. Let's go try and sell, I guess. Yeah, are you getting in? Yep, you're getting in. And we go into once human. Yep. Start game. Okay, getting in. Now let's go watch some YouTube now. I had a YouTube thing lined up, but it appears to be gone. Click. So we come over here. I will pull this and this over here while I work on my channel kind of lackadaisically in the background. And let's go live with Philip DeFranco. Oh. No, this is the one I missed from yesterday, but I want the one from today. You know, it's odd. I had a whole list lined up, and it's gone. Like, just gone. Like, I feel like the tab was closed or something. It's insane. There we go.
News bubble, extreme. The Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson news bubble, extremism situation, and what's really going on there, wanting to just give up and quit the news, and who the AI boom's going to absolutely decimate over the next 5 years. We're talking about all of that on your special Friday Philip DeFranco show, aka From the Bastards, where y'all take control, where y'all send in questions and I do my Philip DeFranco show thing and I turn it into a show for you. And today we start with Aiden, who said, you know, he's concerned about rising political extremism on both left and right, and he asked this important question.
How do you recommend for people from either lane separate themselves from such extreme beliefs?
A great and unfortunately timely question, and where I'll start here is at the individual level. Because the way that experts say that people can distance themselves from political extremism is by breaking out of their media bubbles and following a variety of sources to hear different perspectives. And a big thing with this is a Pew Research study from this summer, they found that Democrats and independents who lean Democrat are much more likely than Republicans and GOP leaners to both use and trust a number of major news sources. Right? And so those who lean Dem, they consume and trust things like ABC, CBS, NBC, and CNN, as well as legacy newspapers
Lord
like
Victor Nefarious yells, welcome to my personal sanctum,
whereas
heroes.
those who lean Republican,
I hope you find the accommodations to your liking.
Trust them.
Herein
And
you will
instead,
find
they
many of
found
my
that they
failed
rely on a
experiments
much
and
more
ultimately my greatest
concentrated number
triumph.
of sources, including Fox News, the Joe Rogan Experience, and the Tucker Carlson Network. And then connected to that, Democrats consume a much wider variety of media sources at much more even rates, whereas Republicans, they disproportionately rely on Fox. Nearly 6 in 10 Republican leaners, they said they regularly got news from the network. And that was double the share of those who said they consumed any other news source that you asked about. Though I will say there was some overlap. 1 in 5 Republicans said they regularly get news from CNN, and a similar share of Democrats said they consume news from Fox on a regular basis. And so with that in mind, you have experts saying that breaking out of media bubbles and diversifying sources is even more important now that social media has become such a major source of news for both parties. Surveys show that nearly half of all adults get news from social media, and that's evenly split with Republicans and Democrats. And because social media sites are algorithmically driven, it gets even easier for people to get sucked into partisan echo chambers. Also, and this is easier said than done, with politically polarized misinformation and exacerbating political extremism on both sides, experts argue that media literacy is needed. Though even starting there, the left and right do not see eye to eye. Right? 81% of Democrats agree that media literacy is important, whereas only 66% of Republicans say it is. And that, as research actually shows, that Republicans need increased media literacy more than Democrats. And with all this, numerous studies have found that Republicans are more likely than Democrats to both believe and spread political misinformation. Right? And each specific study is interesting. There was a 2024 study that found that Republicans, but not Democrats, were more likely to respond to instances of heightened political polarization like elections by spreading false information, even when they knew that the content was likely fake. Also, the media literacy disparity among Republicans appears to be top down. Research has shown that Republican politicians are much more likely to share false or misleading information on social media and other public forums. And so a big part of this is, it's just not going to get better until politicians actually take responsibility to fight extremism and polarization and misinformation. Right? And again, easier said than done, moderating political rhetoric, it's an easy way for public officials to reduce the polarization, right? Take down the heat. And a big part of this is realizing that actually a lot of people have things in common. And a big thing with that is that research actually shows that Americans are more polarized emotionally than ideologically, meaning that, they dislike members of the opposite political party more than they disagree on actual matters of policy. Because while it feels like everyone has just gone crazy, studies show that Americans believe that the far left and far right factions of the two parties, they're much larger than they actually are. And another big thing with this is that failure to call out bad actors, it only increases polarization by normalizing political violence. Right? And then all of that, it brings us to, we need structural reform. Right? I mean, a big one would be ending partisan gerrymandering, like implementing independent redistricting commissions in all states. And while I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, and it's important to know that gerrymandering, it creates districts that are safe for each political party, though mostly Republicans. And so all of a sudden you have these seats that are less competitive, and competition's good because it forces political candidates to appeal to a broader base of voters in order to win. And so without that competition, candidates are more likely to cater to extreme factions of the party. And that's also why you have experts saying that implementing election systems like open primaries and ranked choice voting, it would decrease polarization. All of that research, it brings us back to a big core thing, getting people out of their bubble, right? Exposing people, exposing yourself to diversity. And that can be a diversity of people in your real life, people from different backgrounds, a diversity as far as what you're consuming. And also I think a big thing is diving deeper on certain things. I think there's a real big problem on social media where, people are constantly farming attention, clips are getting posted out of context, or sometimes you get the full clip with the full context, but the headline or the caption completely misrepresents it. And I mean, I think a fantastic example of that we recently talked about was Miss Rachel. The way certain people and certain groups try to portray her as this giant anti-Semite because she said that kids in Gaza deserve not to die. All of this, it's easier said than done. But then we're gonna dive into even more in a minute. But first, let me say, are you still doing the run around the airport begging for a SIM card thing like it's 2009? Because you may not know this, but there's no need to play Lost Tourist anymore. With Saley, today's sponsor, you land abroad already connected. No scams, no confusion, no sad little kiosks with tech from the Cold War. You just download an eSIM straight to your phone before you leave. No lines, no paperwork, no stress. And Saley's got mobile data in 150 plus countries, and switching plans, it's basically one tap. You don't even have to remove your regular SIM. Your phone keeps both active. And yes, it's way cheaper than the surprise roaming fees that your carrier hits you with, like the one where you open your bill and suddenly you owe the GDP of a small village. The coverage is fast, stable, and you can choose plans that fit your trip. Day passes, weekly, monthly, whatever level of chaos you're traveling with. Plus, setup takes 60 seconds. I've had sandwiches that took long. Don't let your phone carrier rob you on vacation. So if you're traveling soon, or honestly ever again, stop doing it the medieval way. Just scan the QR code and use code Phil for 15% off your first plan. Yeah, just use that QR code or download the Saley app. But main thing, be sure to use code Phil for 15% off. But then, back to the news. We have Jessica, who's a longtime PDS viewer from the olden days, giving the show some love, but also sharing a feeling that I think that a lot of people can relate to.
Love your show. Sorry I haven't been watching recently. I just had to take myself out of watching anything political anymore because it seemed like every day was something catching on fire.
So yeah, never feel bad. News fatigue, it is getting worse. Globally, news fatigue has reached a record high this year. Right, literally, according to this year's annual survey by the Reuters Institute for the Study of Journalism, 40% of people who responded across nearly 50 countries said that sometimes or often they avoid the news. That is way, way up from just 29% in 2017. And in the US, news avoidance was even slightly higher at 42%. And as far as why, 40% said, the news was negatively affecting their mood. Right, and that was the top response overall. You also had 31% saying they were worn out by the amount of news, 30% saying that there's just too much coverage of war or conflict, and 29% saying there's just too much politics in the news. And then on that note, there was a December survey that found that Americans in particular are tuning out political news. Nearly 2/3 of respondents said they've recently felt the need to limit the amount of political news that they consume. Well, it was close. There were differences. About 7 in 10 Democrats said that they're stepping back from political news, while around 6 in 10 Republicans and independents said the same. And yeah, part of this is due to the Trump administration, but also it's not limited to that. But it's also connected to how the news landscape has changed. But it used to be limited to TV, radio, newspapers. There were certain blocks of time. Then even that expanded, but then the internet, it exploded from there. With social media, which is now the top source of news for Americans, these things are built to keep you hooked. But even things that seem so simple like scroll features that are on on
You
your phone,
receive
right?
loot.
You pull
Boots of
down,
vertigo.
all of a sudden, an explosion of just
You receive loot.
never-ending
Helm of the blind
content
seer.
and news. And these things that are built to
You loot
keep you
27
hooked,
gold,
they also
4
lead
silver,
to burnout. And
49
then, of course,
copper.
the content of the news can make things
Lord
worse.
Victor
Well,
Nefarious
there's a
yells. Now
baseline
that
of,
was really
okay, well,
unnecessary.
it makes sense that someone wouldn't cover a road working as intended versus if there was a crash or a big pothole on it. But there are also people in institutions, and you see it when it happens, that take it to a completely different level. And then making all of that even worse, people are more likely to avoid news if they believe it's biased, inaccurate, and lacks value. And I mean, how often are you on social media seeing a news thing and you're like, wait, is that true? I mean, for me personally, Twitter used to be a fantastic source, and now it's just a fucking insane cesspool where people are saying anything to get attention. So you end up seeing a lack of trust there, but also like in an October poll from Gallup, trust in media has hit a record low this year. Just 28% of respondents said they had a great deal or a fair amount of trust in newspapers, television, and radio. And understand some people are going to go out there and go like, oh, you're so soft. This is a genuine problem. This has been
There will never
documented
be
to
another
cause
like
mental
me.
exhaustion, burnout,
You receive loot.
prolonged
Jar
stress
of ancient remedies.
responses. And it can even manifest in ways like all of a
You
sudden you'll have
receive
trouble
loot. Cloak of fighting
concentrating,
chill.
low energy or motivation,
You
memory
loot
problems,
25 gold,
irritability,
55
so
silver,
many other
43
things.
copper.
But I mean, even that was just the mental stress,
Lord
and also
Victor
had physical
Nefarious yells.
impacts
We
like
never did
headaches,
see eye to eye.
muscle tension, or
Good riddance, I
pain,
say.
stomach problems, and sleep issues.
You
I mean,
receive loot.
exposure to news
Nado
coverage
Sword
of mass
King.
trauma events, it can even cause secondary PTSD in people who didn't experience the actual events. But then also with that, I'll say, while news fatigue can be very harmful, experts warn that avoiding the news and disengaging from current events, it can create far-reaching negative political impacts. Like lower voter turnout, political discussion, less contact with representatives, disengagement from local matters. There's then also less accountability for political leaders when the public's disengaged from the news, right? Scandals, corruption, incompetence, bad policy decisions, they receive less scrutiny. And when you have lower civic engagement, you're more likely to have bad leaders staying in office. And then also connected to news avoidance, it actually contributes to the spread of misinformation. Because when people tune out or avoid the news, they'll end up filling those gaps with less reliable sources that may just be lying or be oversimplified and lack nuance. It's part of the reason that Trump and his administration intentionally flood the zone to overwhelm people with news and information so they disengage. And so with all that said, I think one of the best options is to create hard boundaries. Or things like setting specific amounts of time or scheduled windows of time to read the news or listen to it or watch this show. Or like, well, I put out clips of this show all over social media. The bigger goal there is for people to come to the full Philip DeFranco show, whether it's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever. Just get that daily dose of poison or the vaccination against stupid. And so then with that, limiting push notifications on your phone, maybe even setting specific phone-free times. And then also with that time that you're away from the constant doom scroll, maybe do something positive or something productive for you and yours, or maybe, just something fun. I think a lot of people, especially over the last 10 years, have forgotten how to have fun. But also, and maybe it's fun for some people, but maybe it's just more of one of the positive things. You can get involved locally, engage in civic matters, or find other ways to bring about real change. But I do think something even self-serving, whether it's fun, maybe practice calming techniques like mindfulness, meditation, yoga, deep breathing, just some sort of self-care. But yeah, know that I understand the struggle. But then finally today we had Keely asking this question.
Are you your family's tech support when it comes to older members of your family? How do you deal with it?
See, I'm now getting to the age where I'm concerned that I'm gonna be the person that needs tech support. Though honestly, also this AI boom that we're seeing, I think it's causing a lot of people having to freak out or learn new things. Right? I mean, a Gallup survey from this summer found that the number of US employees who said they've used AI at least a few times over the last year, it's nearly doubled since 2023, jumping from 21% to 40%. And nearly 1 in 5 workers said they used AI at least a few times a week. Also, nearly double the 11% who said they utilize AI frequently in their work 2 years ago. And actually, overall, 44% of respondents said that their employers have begun integrating AI into workflows, which is a notable increase from 33% just a year earlier. And the increasing use of AI in the workplace, it's driven up demand for workers who know how to use those tools. In fact, a recent analysis by the Brookings Institution found that the number of job listings that ask for AI skills have skyrocketed. And I mean, it's not just the tech industry. Data shows that more than half of job postings requesting AI skills in 2024 were outside of IT and computer science. Right? Marketing and sales specifically were among the top 10 occupations requiring AI expertise. And so AI has created this new generational gap in the workforce, raising concerns for older workers. Right? Nearly 3/4 of the workers who use AI in their jobs, they were under the age of 50. Right? And data shows that 2/3 of baby boomers, they've never used AI at work. And a big part of that is for older folks, they have limited digital literacy, which could actually be a pretty minor problem, except many employers are falling short when it comes to providing adequate training to work with AI tools. And so one, you have younger people who are using these kind of tools on their own, figuring figuring things out, working with them. But also, studies indicate that when companies do invest in training, they're more focusing on younger employees who are perceived as more adaptable. And actually, workers over 50 say they receive even less training on the job. Right? Just 1 in 10 older adults say they've taken AI training at work, despite nearly half of all respondents saying they'd be interested in doing so. And so with all of that, plus even more, you have experts worrying that this generational AI skill gap, it's going to push older workers out of the labor force. And, these older folk worried that AI is going to replace them, it's not unfounded. Goldman Sachs research, they've estimated that AI could replace the equivalent of 300 million full-time jobs globally and displace 6 to 7% of the US workforce. So with that, it's also been predicted that AI could end up creating net jobs. Right? You've got the World Economic Forum forecasting it, driven in part by AI and automation, it's going to displace 92 million jobs by 2030, but generate 170 million new positions. But before you say yay, in the here and now, 41% of global employers reportedly intend to reduce their workforce as AI automates specific tasks. And then with that, the people losing their jobs may not be the people also getting a new job. Or you have experts worrying that the new jobs created by the boom are not going to help the workers who will be displaced, especially the older ones. So I will say, well, I've been talking a lot about old people. It's not just them. Where the World Economic Forum, they predict that by 2030, nearly 6 in every 10 people in the global workforce are going to need upskilling. But again, in the here and now, I do worry about the older folks, because you're talking about a demographic that's most likely to be replaced, most in need of upskilling. But also, we're living at a time where people are working longer because of the increased cost of just living. So, while understandably a lot of people are critical of AI in a number of avenues, I will say ignore AI at your own risk. But that, my friends, is the end of your special Friday Philip DeFranco show. If you liked it, let me know by hitting that like button. If you want to dive into even more news, I've got that brand new podcast, Crashing Out, with myself and Alex Perlman. That was a wild ride this week. Or you can watch last night's Philip DeFranco show that you may have missed, or any of the other 4 I posted this week. Thank you for watching. I love yo faces, and I'll see you right back here on Monday.
Trying to get the floor nice and really clean here. I don't like how dirty the area around my cat's box is, so I clean it every day. I clean it like I'm working at a restaurant, Okay. Okay, much better. I think that's everything that I had to do today, which is really good. Okay. What are we doing? I think they find me a life for this boss, so I'm just gonna leave. Piece of shit developer blockage. There's nothing you can do. Accept the loss and call the developer a retard and move on with your life. Piece of shit cocksucker retard developer. Can't even do a boss 20 years ago, and now they've had 20 years and they still didn't fix it, and you can see it that it's not even playable. Piece of shit cocksucker idiot developer. Yeah. Yeah, it stinks, huh? It's bleach, kitty. What's up, kitty?
You sold your junk for 63 silver 34 copper.
$10,000 gold. Hi, kitty. How are you? Yeah, you doing okay? Oh, pretty kitty. I did get a BOE, which might sell. So, let's go see. Hi, kitty, you beautiful kitty. Oh, hello. I like this kitty. Yeah, you want my lap? Yeah, you can sit down, kitty. Oh, let me pull this cord. Yeah, you good kitty? You having a good time? Yeah. Hi, kitty. Hey. I love you. Smell my hands. Don't they smell bad? Yeah, they do. Well, they smell like bleach. They don't smell bad. Just smell chemical. Ugh. But I cleansed I cleansed the whole foot and everything around your fucking cat box. Everything around it. I don't want that dirty, you know? Crafting orders. Artesian Consortium. Crafting orders. No, never mind. This isn't what I thought it was. So, what now? I guess I'll go heal some people. I could do a time walking dungeon, but I don't want to. I want to do War Within and try and get more gold and gear.
Storm Rider Cadet yells, defend the city. Storm Rider Cadet yells, hold formation. Storm Rider Vokmer yells, thank the Titans you are here. The Storm Purge has been breached and the Storm Riders corrupted. Storm Rider Vokmer yells, hurry. If we free these Storm Rooks, we can fly there and try to end this madness. Storm Rider Vokmer yells, what is that orb? It's radiating dark energy. And it's affecting the Storm Rooks. Storm Rider Vokmer yells, while you go to the roosts, I will distract them here. We can link up later. Stormguard Gorin yells, the title. The glory. It should have been mine, Baelgrim. Stormguard Gorin yells, you never deserved to be Storm Ward. Camus Daggerspine receives loot. Distressed Breeches. Camus Daggerspine receives loot. Uncharged Feather. Camus
Watch your
Daggerspine receives
step.
loot. Clipped Bird WINGX2.
Watch your
Kyrios
step.
begins to cast Crashing Thunder. Glory by Ecclesals receives loot. Voltaic Stormacaller. You loot 16 gold, 35 silver, 65 copper. Storm Rider Vokmer yells, finally. I thought I'd have to fight Gorin on my own.
Pulling in.
You loot 15 gold, 90 silver, 63 copper.
Pulling in. Pulling in.
You loot 9 gold, 3 silver, 63 copper.
Pulling in.
You receive loot, Pierced Spalders. You loot 15 gold, 61 silver, 56 copper. Stormguard Gorin yells, come in. Face me. I will stand proud on the debris of your corpse. Stormguard Gorin yells, I command this rookery. By right. Stormguard Gorin yells, feel my blessing.
Target you.
Stormguard
Which way?
Gorin yells, the might of my hammer.
Pulling in.
Stormguard Gorin yells, my valor.
Target you. Watch your feet.
Stormguard Gorin yells, I deserve this power. Alisan Agrimar receives loot, Sigil of Algary Concordance. Storm Rider Vokmer yells, I do not like that it feels darker and colder as we go down. But, there are more survivors to rescue. Storm Rider Vokmer yells, the lift is out. If we want to keep going, we will have to go down the Storm Rider way. Follow me. Storm Rider Vokmer yells, what is that? What did Goran bring here? Storm Rider Vokmer yells, we have to take it down. Alisan Agramar receives loot, pile of rusted scraps 2. You loot 1 gold, 95 silver, 65 copper. Iron Girl Emerald Dream receives loot, pierced arm guards. Camus Dagger Spine receives loot, pierced gemmos. Alisan Agramar receives loot, pierced sabatons. You loot 17 gold, 36 silver, 78 copper. Alisan Agramar receives loot, pile of rusted scraps 2. You loot 11 gold, 3 silver, 7 copper. Alisan Agramar receives loot, pile of rusted scraps 5. Voidstone Monstrosity yells, join us. Voidstone Monstrosity yells, destroy. Voidstone Monstrosity is weakened by Storm's Vengeance. Voidstone Monstrosity yells, Voidstone Monstrosity yells, void, consume. Iron Girl Emerald Dream has earned the achievement The Rookery. Lori Viakozels has earned the achievement The Rookery. Lori Viakozels has earned the achievement level 80. Alisan Agramar receives loot, crystallized augment RUNEX 3. Camus Dagger Spine receives loot, Monstrosity's Gaze. You receive loot, Hoop of the Blighted. You receive currency, Valor Stonus 15. You loot 32 gold, 22 silver, 68 copper. Lori Viakozels receives loot, Begrimed Bam Braces. Lori Viakozels receives loot, Distressed Belt.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you 8 different things you may have missed in the update in Burning Springs. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so for the first one, it's in the Rust Kingdom. When you spawn in here, you're just going to run all the way to the back. And turn to your left. Through this gate, and there'll be a catwalk up on your left-hand side. This is a long way around. You can use Marsupial to get to this challenge a lot quicker, but this is just the long way, just in case you don't have Marsupial. And you're gonna look for the door on the left. It's gonna be a picklock door or Master Infiltrator. There's gonna be these 3 rooms.
Must be her band.
On the door, there's a note that says Dusty's treasure hunt. And in the note, basically saying his boss wants to get rid of stuff. He doesn't think that you should. So there's 3 keys hidden within the Rust Kingdom, and you have to find them to open each door. Now, these are the kinds of keys you're looking for. There's only 3 of them. I'm not going to show you where, well, I am going to show you where all 3 of them are, but not the full tutorial of it. Mr. Westtech just did a video on this. I will leave his link in the description down below. But once you've collected all the keys, just run back up there and you should be able to unlock all 3 doors.
Why would you do that?
I'm not going to show you what's inside there, but check out Mr. Westtech's video
No, he didn't.
on that. But I did learn that after you've reset the server, you can actually re-loot these rooms again. So, very, very cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Next, we're gonna head over to Summersville. Now, I know it's been in the map forever, but
While I wait for Q.
when I first came in here, this table was not here ever. And there's some other changes that they've added in here. The books are still where they're supposed to be, like on this bookshelf, on the stairs here. They seem to all be here, even the ones outside. But I just don't understand why they had to change it. This looked a little different, but I wasn't 100% sure. But this room is definitely different. I think maybe like the books must have fallen through the floorboards and people weren't being able to pick them up. I don't know. They just redesigned it. I don't know if anyone else caught this, but it threw me for a loop. Because especially if you're trying to reset your server, it's a good place to come. It's not going to change anything because you still have all the books, but it's definitely different. That bookcase wasn't there. You know, I'm a creature of habit and things just changed. Next, we're going to head over to the Meadow Breeze Storage Depot, but you're going to do like a 180 and go down these mountains over here on the opposite side. So you're heading west.
I had to pee in the 60 seconds.
Southwest, I should say. And there's going to be a cave entrance on the side. One of the subscribers actually pointed this one out to me. Thank you for that. And this is the cave here, but it's not in there. It's up here. There is a skeleton, and he has a prepper storage key. Now, I did some digging, and I actually found where it goes. So if you turn your back towards the skeleton and work your way over to the opposite side of the mountain, I am not going to spoil this, but it goes right into this door. Check it out, guys. Next, I don't know if you guys have heard this, but I've realized that the locations, exploring the Burning Springs locations, are not being discovered when you've gotten there. So I have a little trick. It's not my trick. It's actually Duchess Flames that pointed this out. Thank you very much. And what you're going to do is you're going to go into the center of wherever you need to discover. For me, it was Fort Steuben. You're going to load up a daily op once you've gotten into the center of the place. Load up your daily op. Make sure it's going. Don't do anything further. Go to main menu and then quit to main menu. And jump into another server, and it'll recognize that you've been there. Really cool. Thanks, Duchess Flames. Also, while we're at Fort Steuben, you know that alarm that keeps going off while you're here even after all the enemies are killed? Well, if you go up these stairs right here, there's a button on the wall, and it'll turn it off and make it nice and peaceful for you. That one took me a long time to figure out. Next, we're going to head over to Athens. And when you first spawn in, you're going to go all the way to the back. If you've watched my previous videos, you might know where the armory is, but if you don't, it's up here. Past the bookstore. There's going to be some ghouls. Another level up. Past the scarecrow.
Menial laborer attempts to run away in fear.
If you don't have marsupial, this way might be a bit easier to climb up the cliff. And then walk around and go through the store. And if you turn to your right, that's the armory building right there. You're gonna go to the right side of it. And this door right here is the armory, or the beginning of the armory. There's going to be an assaultron in here and a turret. Just be careful. There's some ammo. I already killed the assaultron for the video, and that would be the turret right up top. Now this door right here, we need the key for. But if you go onto the desk, there is a note. It says heading east. And basically they're saying that they're going to take the key and head out east, down towards the tracks, because they don't feel it's safe keeping the key here. So that's your little note. or hint as to where the key is.
OL Waxbeard yells, move, weakling.
So just head
Here we come.
outside and point towards the east until you get to the train
OL
tracks.
Waxbeard yells,
Run
fight
that way.
Waxbeard. Fight quick. Stupid. Menial laborer attempts to run away in fear. OL Waxbeard yells, more minecart. Now. Menial laborer attempts to run away in fear. Menial laborer attempts to run away in fear.
And then
Menial
once you
laborer
get
attempts to run
here,
away in fear.
climb up these stairs.
Menial
There's
laborer
another
attempts to run
picklock
away
door.
in fear. Menial
And
laborer
on the
attempts to
table
run
in
away
the
in
corner
fear.
on the right will be the armory
OL
key.
Waxbeard yells, more minecart.
Now when you
Laborer
get back
attempts
to the
run away in
armory,
fear.
you can unlock
Menial
the
laborer
door.
attempts to run away in fear.
And there's some really
OL
good
Waxbeard
stuff in
targets
here.
cold wave with a reckless charge.
Tons of ammo.
OL Waxbeard yells, move, move, quick.
Some missiles.
OL Waxbeard says,
a locked
stupid weaklings.
toolbox
Stupid wick.
with a plan. Who knows
Skitter
what other
says,
plans
I
you
know
might
this
get.
place. OL Waxbeard's been here
That
forever.
minigun is missing a piece.
Skitter says, didn't trust nobody. So mean.
But there's a minigun in here.
Skitter
Some more
says,
ammo.
quick, quick, faster, faster. I'll catch up.
Assault rifle. More good stuff. Tons of toilet paper. Mini nuke. More ammo. Some armor. Or power armor. Yeah, it's a nice little find.
Cold wave, on my way to Wandering Candle.
Now for the next one, I went over to the Dino Peaks mini golf, and right where my cursor is at the end of the tracks,
You receive loot.
this is
massive
where
melted
I
wax.
found the most success trying to get the NPC vendor, who happens to be a random encounter, so he's not always going to be here. But when you do get him, if you interact with him, you're going to get him to, he's going to tell you that he's blind. And if you trade with him, because he's a doctor, you're going to get some meds off of him, which are at a decent price for the most part. You'll see his cap limit is 2,800. It's only because it's caps aplenty that it's 2,800. It's usually 1,400. But I found out that his cap limit and the train vendor's limit are two different cap limits. So you can get
Lost icon yells,
everything
my
out of
flame alights.
him and then get everything
Lost
out of the
icon
train
yells,
station
my fire hungers.
if you
shot
wanted
needed.
to get as many caps as possible, which I
Lost
thought was
icon
really
yells,
cool. I
let
don't
there
know
be
if
darkness.
that's just for now or if that's
Target you.
just
with lighter
temporary,
courage,
or if
setting
it's
nearby objects
gonna
ablaze.
change once Bethesda figures that out. But this is just to show you at the
incoming.
Hawkins Hills train station, his caps limit was the exact same, the 2,800 again.
Lost icon yells, by the candle's light.
And lastly, we're gonna go to the Westbrook horse range. And when you spawn in, you're just gonna run this way.
You receive
Past
loot,
the barn.
charged fragments. You receive loot, shimmering glim claws.
All the
Titan
way at the
Hydraxis
back till you
receives loot,
see
inert
that
dust.
horse carriage.
Cold wave Zul'jin receives loot, inert dust. Titan
You're gonna turn
Hydraxis
to your
receives
left.
loot, wax's teal great helm.
Up this little rocky hill.
Sick Furbal Tichondrius receives loot, charged fragments. You loot 15 gold, 40
And
silver,
right in this
27
very
copper.
corner is an odd-looking rock,
Ticket Hydraxis
which will
receives
have
loot,
a
charged
bit of loot
fragments.
for you. It'll be different
Ticket
from
Hydraxis receives
what
loot,
I have in
inert
my
dust.
inventory versus what you will
You loot
get
1 gold,
from
49
when you
silver,
scan it.
57 copper.
And yeah, that's
Titan
pretty much it,
Hydraxis receives
everybody.
loot,
I
massive
hope
melted
this video
wax.
helps you guys out. Let me know if you knew about
Skitter
all
says,
of these.
This is it. Court of Candle
And
King.
yeah,
Teach him a lesson.
take care, everybody. Love y'all.
The Candle King yells, you. No. Take. Candle. Candle King yells, wax and ruin.
Move
Candle
to
King targets you with
statue.
dark flame pickaxe. The Candle King yells, I make you candle. The Candle King yells, this why I king and you dead. The Candle King yells, you. No. Take. Candle. The Candle King yells, I mold you now. The Candle King yells. Further Congress receives the Candle Bearer's Shroud. You loot 19 gold, 6 silver, 24 copper. Skitter says, no more Candle King. We can be free. But first, the darkness. Skitter says, darkness cannot be destroyed. Only defeated. Then he comes back. New shape. Same fear. Skitter says, time to flee. Flee to freedom. We can use big candle cart to escape. Sickferble Tichondrius receives loot. Bottled darkness. Sickferble Tichondrius receives loot. Darkened residue. You receive loot. Bottled darkness 3. You receive loot. Darkened residue X2.
It's like some kind of deadly ballerina. Just spin and spin and spin. Kill everything here.
The mine cart has been lit. Grab some dynamite before the cart takes off. Skitter says, quick. Grab some dynamite and let's go. Skitter yells, wait for me. The darkness yells, no escape. Skitter says, ow. My head. Sick Verbal Tichondrius receives loot. Darkened residue. Sick Verbal Tichondrius receives loot. Arcane Scuttle. Cold Wave Zul'jin receives loot. Darkened residue. You receive loot. Darkened residue X2. You receive loot. Bottled darkness 2. You loot 13 gold, 73 silver, 39 copper. Tythan Hydraxis receives loot. Darkened residue X3. Sick Verbal Tichondrius receives loot. Darkened residue X2. Sick Verbal Tichondrius receives loot. Bottled darkness. Sick Verbal Tichondrius receives loot. Shadowed appendage X2. The darkness yells, ruin. The darkness yells, darkness descends.
Brandful.
The darkness yells, shadows gather. The darkness yells, the light Hydraxis has earned the achievement Dark Flame Cleft. Tythan Hydraxis has earned the achievement Dark Flame Cleft. You receive item, Crystal Satchel of Cooperation. Ticket Hydraxis receives loot, Remnant of Darkness. Skitter says, better to light candle than curse darkness. You receive loot, Shadow Spawn Leggings.
I am 551 now.
You receive currency, Valor Stonus 15.
Went up.
You loot 25 gold, 86 silver. Skitter says, it's scary in there. But we must go in. You receive loot, Crystallized Augment RUNEX3. You loot 942 gold, 13 silver, 34 copper. Skitter says, but the darkness always returns.
Hit the tank left, I'm leaving.
Skitter says, new friends are best friends. Thanks,
I want this queue,
best friend.
Otherwise I've got other stuff I can do. Okay, get me in. I'm selfish. I mean, it's like, I want to wait till I get a box queue. They've been nice to me with that. Oops.
You sold your junk for 15 gold, 49 silver, 40 copper.
639, 639. This thing is better? Yeah, that thing is better. Oh, so no, I replaced my last ring. Now I'm 4.4 mil. I got a nice BOE out of that raid. Let's go see if it sells. I'll do a music and Zen pilgrimage. I don't know, maybe there's an auction house here. Let's go see. Okay, so trying to sell this thing. You say 900, I'll say 800. I'm gonna suck. Okay, how much are these? 7 gold a pop. It's like, yeah, pretty good. Where will I put my house? And that's where I will farm. Traders tender. I don't know what that is. I have 2,800 traders tender. Ensemble Sky Witch's attire. Sure. Of the Soaring Sky Fox. I like the cat more, but I do want to buy this. I got the Soaring Sky Fox. That's dope as fuck. Take it. That was dope as fuck too, I'll take it. I think I'm good. I don't know how you get these points, but it's cool that I got them. I don't even know what the system is, and I don't care. Reigns of the Soaring Sky Fox, I got it too. I got that fox. The cat reminds me of my kitty, so I'm going to keep it. I like this cat. This cat is so good. It's a huge cat for one thing. Maybe the heater is a little too high. of the house, and I will pump it down.
You receive loot, Dornogle gardening scythe. You receive currency, Hazalgar herbalism knowledge x3.
Or knowledge times 3, whatever that means, I really don't know. Is there more right here somewhere? No, it's just like... So anyways, where am I? I am hoping that the healer queue let's go do that one. Am I in? Oh, good, I'm in. So, let's go try to sell a laptop and see what it gives me.
You receive item, Astral Gladiator's Herald Rex 9.
This is the honor. This is the honor. Oh, it is. Look at 2800 honor. I can buy a medallion. Oh, 642. Yay. Yep, I'll take it, or at least until something better comes.
You receive item, Astral Aspirant's Medallion.
Yay, I got my trinket finally. Yay, and the trinket. I'll put it right there. Actually, that's a big cooldown. I want it. And I want that to be my F key. Key bindings. Quick key bind. F key. Okay, so. Is there a quick keybind? Wow, is there a quick keybind for quick keybind? Okay, here we go. So the quick keybind does have a macro. Let's see if it does it. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so let's go write a macro for that. New quick that in that. Maybe open this and I can just keybind. I can just fucking keybind at will. That's fucking sweet.
Ethereal Warp Weaver says, I can see why you have summoned me, Hunter.
So here's the first thing I'm going to spend honor on. It's like a house decoration. This bigger. Let's go back to Matrix Plus. the talking for him. I don't need it. Oh, look, thank God. Make it bigger. I can't make it bigger, but I can move it, I think. That's the overall sound, like the master. Cool, I can, like, at least see it. Yeah. This. No, you don't want me to move the contact list, but that's alright. Okay, I have 2,400 honors, so I should technically get something better.
You receive item, Astral Aspirant Staff.
642, that's 200 eye level, and I jump to 584, and I'm suddenly 5 mils. 617 honor left. I can get my brain surgeries.
You receive item, Astral Aspirant's Leather Wrist Wraps.
Yeah, that's a big upgrade too. 584 to 595. Nice. I'm up to 600. And I moved fast. It was like a day or something like that. It took me a day to get to like, 100 of being done. That's cool. Now I'm here to check the laptop. Okay, let's queue for epic battle. Southeast, the forage grounds is the battleground, okay. Or also the battleground thing. Okay, I used up all my honor. I'm a higher eye level now.
Scholomance? Wow. I need about 300 more water. Can't do blue. No. Okay, so... It's Ashnod.
Miser and Stouto says, if it is as powerful as Dr. Jones theorizes, it may very well be of Titan origin. Protodemon Sargeras creates, Scroll of Town Portal. 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 Iriella Blade Fist creates, Scroll of Town Portal. Iriella Blade Fist creates, Scroll of Town Portal. Protodemon Sargeras creates, Scroll of Town Portal. Iriella Blade Fist creates, Scroll of Town Portal. Iriella Blade Fist creates, Scroll of Town Portal. Iriella Blade Fist creates, Scroll of Town Portal. Glup Amonthul creates, Scroll of Town Portal. Glup Amonthul creates, Scroll of Town Portal. Grimnir Sternemmer says, that seems a little far-fetched. I haven't seen any evidence to link the Titans to this world. Glup Amonthul creates, Scroll of Town Portal. Glup Amonthul creates, Scroll of Town Portal. Glup Amonthul creates, Scroll of Town Portal. Grand Marshal Tremblade says, Heroes of the Alliance. Our mission is to secure Ashran and the ancient artifacts scattered across it. Binabura Frostmourne creates, Scroll of Town Portal. Miser and Stouto says, that may be so, but wouldn't it be grand to discover that the Titans had reach even here? Just think of the ramifications. Binabura Frostmourne creates, Scroll of Town Portal. 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 DZ Moonrunner creates, Scroll of Town Portal. DZ Moonrunner creates, Scroll of Town Portal. DZ Moonrunner creates, Scroll of Town Portal. Grand Marshal Tremblade says, while some of you push into enemy territory, the others will search for and retrieve the artifacts before the Horde does. Grand Marshal Tremblade says, we cannot allow the Horde to obtain the power found on this island. For the Alliance. Mudfloyd prepares a pot of potato stew. Shadehawk creates, scroll of town portal. 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 Scald Moonguard 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 creates, scroll of town portal. Disruptive Proud Moor creates, demonic health stone. Text to speech set to disabled.
Fuck! You fucked me with the cliff, you piece of shit! Fucking piece of shit, developer. What the fuck was that? So annoying. What was that? Set the warrior fucking army out. You wouldn't fucking Tiger's Lust is why. people have like 8 times the health I do, which is just insane. That was fun. I did like healing. You saw the numbers pop. I like doing it. Good at it. Fun to jump right back in like 2 days or whatever. They realized that leveling is fucking boring. So I came back to the laptop to see if they'll give me a truck mission.
Okay, we're dropping.
I don't have any water, so I'll have to go get water. I will go boil seawater. Ultra Belly, I haven't seen that in a while. See it? See how I'm better than everybody else? See it? I tried to do Control Tab and it just wouldn't let me do it. God damn it. Why is the Control Tab working? You can see that it's found Control Tab right there. What's your fucking problem? Oh, you're so annoying. Wait, I have a thing for this. Control Tab, you're not working. Control Oh, control tower. It's gonna be a big fracas. These people finally know how to PvP and they're actually getting red points. So there's like almost always a massive battle and it's fucking sweet. I love the big battles. I don't know, I think we stop at Tower Point, bitch. Oh no, we didn't stop at Tower Point. It's all downs, no ups. They gotta stop us or we're gonna kill them. Works for me, fuck it. People left when we didn't do Tower Point. I don't care. I want to kill that boss. I mean, I mean, we have Tower Points everywhere. Take the graveyards. Okay, there it is, boys. Take it. What? Oh my god! Fix your fucking targeting, piece of shit, cocksucker developer! Fix your fucking targeting. What was that? I could have stopped that guy, but no! Your piece of shit targeting's worthless. What the fuck's with that, man? Now we stand here a while. Could have got that guy, could have got him out of the way, but no, your targeting put my shit in the fucking ceiling again. Twice in the last hour. Fix your fucking targeting. What the fuck? motherfucking AV in its fucking original form. Spawn before they take GY. 30 seconds. Are they gonna get GY? They better not. You hero way too fucking early, you idiots. Now we're way back now. Where are we? We're way back now. What happened here? New tunnel jet. We pulled the towers and we were close. At least they didn't get that. I don't care. I'm having fun. I like 80-man battles. I think they're fun. I don't care if these people leave. I don't care if we lose. It's still fun and loot. You know, whatever. Yeah, it is gonna be long, Oh my god. I'll get bounced around. Back and just raise the fuck up. All these people left. And now we've been locked out. But I mean, it's not my fault they can't get kills. I've been doing heals, you know, my heals are great. Look at these heals, right? I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean, mostly blue, you know, we're doing okay. These guys have a lot of I don't care about dying, I just want to bounce one of them. Okay, here we come, we're gonna come in. Get rid of that. Drop this numbers fly, see the numbers fly. It's so fun. Okay. Oh god. make the fucking flag. I was so close. All downs, no ups. Those guys are just like standing there or whatever. Well, at least they did. Man. When I get gear, I'm gonna help these guys. Oh, my camera got bumped again. I'm sorry about that. Okay. These are fun. Oh, idling. Damn it. Get back in. Okay, so I came to get water. I love all these games. Having such a good time. It's fucking sweet. I love you guys. Thank you for, you know, I got my Twitch payment today. That was nice. I'm gonna buy World of Warcraft Midnight with that. Thank you for taking that burden off of my family. I love you guys so much from the bottom of my fucking heart. Thank you so much. at this grenade. Lost this. Well, at least I won't die. Bitch.
Yeah, bitch! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
the only one who lived. Watch this. I'm smart too. I'm smart. Bye. Boom. When you're the only one out of the 40 people who live, or whatever. I healed, I did my job. I'm always in the top 10 heals, or whatever. I just started playing this game yesterday. These people play this game every day, whatever. Dong. Oh, I was hoping it was this. Yeah, never mind. I'm gonna leave the queue. Leave the queue momentarily while I do this. For like 5-7 minutes. Or actually 10. I think it's like 10 minutes. Right about now, let's space truck into the future, bitch! Yeah! You cocksucker! So there's a secret about this mission that you don't really think about. Which is that if you don't hit anybody, you don't aggro anything. Oh no, eventually they just give you 3 stars. Never mind, I'm wrong. But for a while. See ya, bitch. Oh. 5 engines, count them, bitch. 5 engines. You can't stop it. You can't stop it. To the Fox MC's freestyle to the beat. Get drunk, stay drunk at the club. most of the way. I'm almost there. I just have to go back. I'm gonna go around like this. That big truck was cool. dear God, is it on the highway? Oh God, it is on the highway. Oh God, it's spaghetti junction. How the fuck do I open I'm back in the saddle again. God damn, the brakes suck. I got 15 minutes. If it's the slow way, fuck this is slow. I get down that way. I'm gonna go this way. What the hell is that? What is that? It's a helicopter based on a bus. This $300,000 mission, I'm not gonna fuck with it. We're gonna get there. We got there. I navigated Spaghetti Junction. No, I didn't. I lost the train. Start over. Right. I couldn't stop it. Well, whatever. Fucking annoying. I hate the truck mission. Why did you put this much money behind the truck mission? It's so much. It's like I don't want to sell it. You're so couple of these need to like have heat. I don't know which one it is. I don't know. I should go to the think I'm done with World of Warcraft here. I'm just gonna get off it. Am I rested? Doesn't matter. Yeah, this was a good day of WoW, yeah. And I will go change it up to a different channel. Gonna get off WoW, go play something else for a little while. Oh. Let's go play some Fortnite, I think. Yep. I will do Fortnite, yeah. This game's frustrating me too. I don't want to play this game right now, and I don't have to, and I'm not going to. I can, but I don't want to. Yep, just close it. Maybe I'll do some Arc Raiders or something like that. But in the meantime, I'll play some Fortnite. Yeah, and I'll just switch it to just chatting here. I love my little dual Twitch, dual kick thing. I should go live back on YouTube, but I'm also scared of catching DMCA all the time. I'm gonna get all my strikes off me before I try again. And they still have a strike on me. It's so annoying. Maybe it's a year long. We don't know. But I'm gonna wake up one day and it'll be gone. And no category found. I don't know. Are you glitched or you just can't find it? I don't know. I don't know. So can I empty it? See, you are glitched. You're like glitched, and I can't change you anyways. You're like glitched. You're so annoying. Yeah, I'm offline, am I? Yeah, sure. You say I'm offline. I don't know. Am I really offline? No. You're just lying. No, you are glitched. You're like glitched. Yeah, discard delay and just start again. I don't know what your fucking problem is. It's because you're... Yeah, there we go. So, can you change? So, there is titles right now you can't change. Alright, I don't know. I don't want you in any other titles, so that's fine. We'll play some... I'll sit up here. That's fine. So, now, I came here to boil a lot of salt. Wait, that's how you make salt? Okay, that's how you make salt, but... Yeah, make some salt, and then the rest of it can go away for now. I don't really realize, but that's okay. We have room for this. Yep. Dump that and that. Yeah, are we good? Where's the rest of my meds? There they are. Oops, no, I don't want that. I want you, you, and you, and you. All the rest of that can combine with this. Yep, nice, good. And now we're still way too heavy because I have water.
It's hard to do puppet jokes. about multiple political assassinations, but we try. You should like us and subscribe to us because we try. But like, remember George W. Bush?
I do.
Sure, he was a divisive president, but he was a fun,
Thank you. Some more news. I'd like to sub to your channel. You do try.
folksy guy who was genuinely charming.
Why does George Bush have a turkey in his crotch? Why? This guy's like, what? I want to make my mother laugh, so I'm going to send her this picture. It's not AI. Oh my god, I'm going to send this picture to my mother.
He was our great big dummy, the guy we all loved to imitate regardless of whether you were a fan of his politics. It's just a fun voice to do. You know, I news long for the news days when we used to make fun of truthiness and strategery and other Bush misspeakitudes. I mean, look at him. Look at his little tie. He used to give us gifts every single day, like an advent calendar of celebrated mediocrity. Things like forgetting popular aphorisms in the middle of reciting them, or getting shoes flung at his head for reasons I forget, or being portrayed by Will Ferrell. Yep, those were the days that I'm definitely remembering fully. Adorable Bush. Wouldn't hurt a fly. One moment. Sorry. I'm now hearing that he wouldn't hurt an American fly. Heard a lot of things, overseas. Oh, right. Katrina, forgot about that. Well, other than, I'm sorry, how many executions when he was governor? Reminder, George W. Bush was a terrible president. Well, then what did he say? Oh, no. You shut that down today. Block his text as a red flag. Sorry, I gotta go. I'm at work. Hi, I'm here. I'm present. So George Wubba Bush, not to be confused with George Hubba Wubba Bush, he's been on my mind lately, and not simply because of Cheney's recent death. Oh, he's waterboarding the Angels now. See, there are a lot of current events that are either reflective of or due to the presidency of GWB, something that we are about to devote 2 whole episodes to. And for this first episode, we'd like to simply remind our older audience and educate our younger audience about what things were really like during Bush's time in that roundish office. And no better.
I take no, solace in another man's death. That's not what I'm after here. How did Cheney die? Rest in peace. How did Cheney die? He's one of the most hated men in history. How did Dick Cheney pass? Pneumonia, cardiac and vascular disease, heart problems, heart attacks, and a heart transplant. The devil came and squeezed his heart. That's what happens when your whole heart turns to stone. It'll keep beating, but the devil fucking comes and squeezes it. We've seen it all throughout media depicted before. The devil comes straight for your heart. When you don't have a heart for other people, the devil comes and squeezes it, and it turns it to stone. And then you have all these heart problems when you're 80 because you stepped on everybody all your life. That's what happens to shitheads.
Better place to start than his rise to power.
Rest in peace, shithead.
Because while it doesn't get mentioned nearly as often as Trump's nepotism, the Bushes are one of the oldest political dynasties in America, similar to the Kochs or the Clintons or the DeLuises. George Hubba Wubba Bush was the head of the CIA and served as Ronald Reagan's vice president until he took over the big chair in 1989.
Both of them were a couple of douchebags.
W is Bush Sr.'s oldest son, who conquered the Texas Rangers and ruled Texas as its governor beginning in 1995. He was then appointed to the presidency by the Supreme Court in December of 2000 after a violent mob of Republican operatives halted a recount in Florida, where his brother Jeb was governor at the time. Really, I bet some of you forgot or didn't know about the violent mob part of that story. It's an absolutely wild moment in history that just does not come up that often at all. More on that later. Like the general badness and unjust.
Now, violent mob I had not heard of. Oh no.
In December of 2000, after a violent mob of Republican operatives halted a recount in Florida, where his brother Jeb was governor at the time. Really, I bet some of you forgot or didn't know about the violent mob part of that story. It's an absolutely wild moment in history that just does not come up that often at all. More on that later. Like the general badness and unjust nature of every aspect of his presidency is something we're all aware of. But for some reason, many of the details about W have been cute-washed over the years. I blame Michelle Obama and no one else! Get her! So let's talk about Bush, the Nepo baby, turned governor, turned president, in our first little segment. Yes, we're doing segments. Growing a bush. I love segments. They're like chapters for videos, and I get a little rest to do stuff, like tweet. So as I foretold, George W. Bush skated through his entire pre-White House life on the strength of his last name. Wubbalicious is like a little clone of his dad. He went to Yale, he joined the armed services, he got into the oil industry, and then he ran for public office. And Bush Sr. pulled more strings for his baby boy than Geppetto, although he would have tried to waterboard Monstro, and all hell would have broken loose. He likes water, you fools! Don't do that. Okay, when Bush entered the armed forces, he received a cushy gig in the Texas Air National Guard that allowed him to shadow dodge the Vietnam draft like a breakdancing ninja, the freshest of Shredder's henchmen. Despite scoring a 25% on his aptitude test, which is the lowest possible score you can get without failing, he beat out thousands of other applicants and was sworn in as a pilot the same day. That's what you call a generational talent. After receiving an honorable discharge to go to Harvard Business School, Bush fondled his way into the oil industry during one of its most volatile periods in history. By the mid-'80s, his company Spectrum 7 was millions in debt, but that green last name of his allowed him to leverage a favorable buyout from a major Dallas-based firm called Harken Oil and Gas, which figured having a Bush on their board would be attractive for investors. Everything those Bushes touch always seemed to work out. Everything works out for the Bushes specifically. We'll see. Bush would go on to purchase a share of the Texas Rangers, which put him in $500,000 in debt. In an early display of the decision-making that would come to both define his presidency and title his memoirs, W sold over $800,000 worth of Harken shares in order to pay that debt, triggering an insider trading investigation. But that investigation didn't yield anything conclusive, which I'm sure had nothing at all to do with his last name or who his dad was. Oh, unrelated, but maybe super related, his purchase of the Rangers was facilitated by the previous owner, Eddie Childs, who just so happened to be a family friend of the Bushes. Way too many articles like to point out that Childs used to call Bush young pup, so they were close enough that the man had given him a terminally uncool nickname that everyone knew about. So yeah, Nepo baby, which is fine. Sometimes. But perhaps there's a difference between forcing your dad out of acting retirement to star in your indie drama and using your powerful political family name to turn a major baseball team into playthings like your Captain Cisco on the holodeck, especially since this was all leading to an even more powerful position. In a Time magazine interview published in 1989, the year he helped acquire the team and the year his father was sworn into the
Okay, guys, this stream has ended, I think. I'm just gonna stop it. Yep, I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna leave the delay to go, and I'm gonna leave you with my, my info. I have no idea what's going on. But I am gonna go to bed. I'm fucking exhausted.
White House. Bush said,
Hi, kitty. You wanna come see me? So let's go to all gussied up here, okay, kitty? Hold on, just a second. I'm gonna throw the blanket down. I'm gonna cross my legs. Yeah, come here. Yeah, hi, kitty. You want cuddle? You want some lap? Yeah. There we go. Hello, kitty. Hello, sissy. I try to be very delicate with you these days because I know you're getting older. I try to be very delicate with you and give you nice touches. And I love my kitty, you know. Not to be too rough with you, sissy.
would just assume that his dad had done everything for him. Interesting. Which definitely, it wasn't the case at all with the Rangers. He just committed some light insider trading, allegedly, and borrowed money from a bank where he once sat on the board of directors. That was 100% gumption and 0% being shielded by your dad, the President of the United States of America. Indeed, his ownership of the Rangers and the subsequent construction of a new stadium were both held up as positive contributions Bush had made to the community. But if you noticed, we said he bought a share of the team. Bush was actually a minority stakeholder in the team rather than its owner, and the stadium was constructed with nearly $200 million in taxpayer money. Furthermore, Bush's investment partners were allowed to recoup all their construction expenses by tacking a $1 surcharge onto tickets. So they basically got a stadium for free. What a bailout. Definitely don't think too hard about that bailout word. It certainly won't come back to haunt us. How much money were the taxpayers allowed to recoup, you may be asking? And shame on you for doing so, you ridiculous person. You know Texans never saw one dime of return on that investment. It all went to the team's incredibly wealthy owners, including the president's son, George W. Bush. That's the guy this video's about. That's fun. So even though he blatantly got Texas to pay for his governor's resume, Bush was seen as an energetic and personable disruption to the establishment Democratic leadership. It's hard to believe now, but Democrats had previously held both the governorship and the state house, but began losing their popularity in the mid-1990s. So next comes Bush the governor, the Bushinator, they called him. Both on the campaign trail and after he took office, his primary platform was a tough-on-crime stance that derived downright villainous glee from the idea of punishing criminals. It's like the movie Death Wish as political policy, which is essentially Texas. But it wasn't always. That actually started with Bush. He handed out the fewest pardons of any governor in the state since the 1940s, and at least one person was executed every 2 weeks while he was in office. He loved killing people, equally as much as he loved jailing kids. He eliminated drug treatment programs for inmates, instead vowing to use that money to build more prisons for children. That's not a joke. He specifically ran on building more juvenile detention centers to get these criminals off the streets, and openly defied the idea that juvenile offenders should be treated with anything less than the harshest possible punishment. After all, if you rehabilitate them early, Who will he get to execute as adults? During his campaign, Bush met with Texas officials to outline his more child jail stance, and in that meeting, a juvenile probation officer actually pushed back, arguing that these kids need rehabilitation and, God Emperor forbid, some compassion. And reportedly, Bush got very angry at this officer. To quote a 1994 article in Texas Monthly, he does not respond well to criticism. Bush then responded with, quote, "They'll start changing once they realize they're going to get punished every time they screw up." George W. Bush, the man who has never faced a single consequence, angrily said that in public. This mediocre man skins his dick raw to the idea of jailing children. And so does the state of Texas, apparently. Or at least it did in 1995, because Bush beat the incumbent Democrat by almost 8 points. Shucks. As governor, Bush did increase overall funding to public education, but under the condition of adding weird penalties to schools whose standardized test scores fell below a required minimum. Stuff like bonuses for administrators were linked to how well their schools were ranking. The result was improved test scores at the predictable expense of actual learning. See, for example, experts found that reading samples on the tests had gotten noticeably easier, with shorter sentences and less complex words. Because, of course, they did that. That's what happens if you make schools hinge their test scores on getting money. They'll simply make the tests easier every time because they have to. It's almost identical to Bush's all-or-nothing approach with juvenile offenders. It's a punitive measure that completely ignores and devalues the lives of the children in question. Scratch that, it doesn't just devalue them, it assumes they are inherently worthless. How else do you describe a public education bill that obliterates schools if their students aren't performing well enough? That leaves so many children behind, my dude. My dude, bia. Oh, my dude. Yeah, but George, it fundamentally misunderstands the point of school in the first place, and of course continues that weird, angry war on education that began with Bush's spiritual Uncle Ronnie and has only grown weirder and angrier with the GOP's new guy.
Today we take a very historic action that was 45 years in the making. In a few moments, I will sign an executive order to begin eliminating the Federal Department of Education once and for all.
Oh yeah, we got him, folks! After 45 long years, the GOP has defeated education. Once and for all, the nightmare is finally over, and Bush helped. So to recap, Bush went from Yale to Vietnam summer camp, to Harvard Business School, to oil tycoon, to Major League Baseball quasi-owner, to governor of Texas, all through almost no direct action of his own. He's like a wealthy slinky, a precious little slinky on a gilded staircase. And of course, we know his next stop on the Mediocrity Express, the goddamn White House for some reason. Gonna need a new segment to deal with this. Starting the steal. I'm good. I'm present. So the 2000 election is where the modern GOP started rearing its angry little head when it began to transition from dog whistling and secretive power consolidation to a Hyborian fighting pit where plausible deniability is meaningless because everybody is wearing the same snake guts. Because yes, as we pointed out in our Reagan videos, this is a long...
Okay, guys, I'm going to bed. I'm sorry to go to bed on a Friday so fucking early, but, you know, and it sucks for me to do this, and I'm sorry. I know some of you are up late trying to be there with me, but I am going to go to bed because I was up at 7 in the morning today, and I'm trying to keep my sleep schedule, and I'm going to charge my watch, and I've got my cat on my chest. I got my cat on my chest, and I don't know if you guys can see it. Yeah, there she is. Yeah, you see her? She's like on my chest. She's just like there. She's like sleep. She's not sleeping. She's purring. She's like sit there and purring. And I just feel like cuddling my cat and watching something DMCA that I can't watch on my stream and just sitting here and not commenting at all, just trying to be here and be myself and be with my cat for 15 minutes before I go to bed. And so I'm just going to go do so. I love you guys. Thank you so much for your time. With just a reminder, you've been watching a Skycat Live. I'm a full-time variety gamer all day, every day. Click on the cast face. It's a PayPal link, and come to my Twitch or YouTube and give me a like, sub, or follow. Thank you so much for your time. This stream is ending in 15 seconds. I'll see you later. And the video is ending now, too, with just a reminder that I have thousands of videos on my YouTube channel. Check me out. I love you guys. Thank you so much for your time. See ya.